Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to do some examples of these terms that we just learned. As you can see here, if we were to say points, we could say that on this line segment that we're looking at, it extends in one direction infinitely. It has an arrowhead on the other side, so it's a line segment. On this line segment, we have identified 5 points. We have point Q, we have point R, point S, point T, and point U. So those are all points. Now, we will refer to some of those as endpoints when we discuss array or a line segment. But as for this line that extends infinitely in both directions, we can call it by many names. We could call it line QU. And we would put, so this is a line. It has a double arrowed line, or a double, over top of the points Q and U. This indicates this line. But if I were to call this line QS, it would be the same line. These two are the same thing. We can name them differently, but the truth of the matter is, because lines go infinitely in both directions, you can pick any 2 points on the line and name it. We could also call it line RT. These are the exact same thing, okay? They are the same line, okay? So that is a line. But let's say we were to identify a ray, okay? Let's say we identify ray SU. We would do a single arrowed line. And the arrow it's always on the right-hand side. It always points to the right. The S means that this ray starts at S. It has an endpoint at S and extends in this direction. So this essentially is ray SU. Now note that the point T is on the ray SU. And we could just as easily have named this ray ST if we wanted to. It would be the same ray. However, ray US, if we were to identify ray US, the endpoint would be at U. And so US would start here and it would include S, so it would be a ray extending in the left direction, and it would include both S and U. Note that point T is on ray US, point R is also on ray US, and point Q is also on ray US. We could also call this ray UT or UR or UQ. The only important thing is that the endpoint, since the endpoint is U, we have to start with the letter U. So we could just as easily call this ray UR, and it's still the same ray. Okay? All right. Now, let's talk about a line segment. There are a lot of line segments represented here, and they are all, they're all different. So a line segment is strictly identified by its endpoints. So line segment RU runs from here to here. That's line segment RU. Endpoint, endpoint. And it's very different than line segment RT, because line segment RT starts here and ends here. RT starts here and ends here. RT, where this one is RU. Okay? Now note, point T is on line segment RU, but point U is not on line segment RT. So we could also identify line segment QR, a separate one QS, a separate one QT, QU, RS, RT, RU, ST, SU, and T and U. Okay? Could we write this RT as line segment TR? Yes, we can. That's okay, but typically we write them with the earlier Latin alphabet letter before the later Latin alphabet letter. Okay? And note that these are endpoints. Both of them are endpoints in a line segment. Okay? So that's just an example of how to identify lines, line segments, rays, points, and endpoints.